However, the note is the authorization for them to make that loan based upon the reserves that the banks keep at the Federal Reserve Bank, which happen to be those reserves, as identified once in their own purpose and functions by the Board of Governors. So, the bank has rights in depositing promissory notes as the servicer, fiduciary, trustee, or safekeeper. Makes total sense when you think about it this way, because you sign the note and you hand it to Mr. Banker. He's now the holder. Matter of fact, it even mentions that in here, that the bank is identified as a note holder. Well, I'm glad that you're holding it. That's real nice. However, if I'm holding this book, this is the nature and power of contract laws that people don't understand. I'm holding this book. Does that mean it's mine, and does it mean that I have rights to it? No, it does not, because this happens to be a friend of mine's book, and I have an obligation to give it back to him. I do not have the right to go and sell this to somebody else because it's someone else's book. So just because a bank or any corporation says, I'm the holder, I have rights, what rights do you have? And who gave you such rights to do that is the question that needs to be asked. And it also needs to be very, very specifically defined, because if it's not defined, then there wasn't a proper meeting of the minds about the essential elements of a contract, therefore there is no contract. In order to get a private deposit transaction in the public eye, one has to get the agreement from the bank and then simply have the all inaccurate, non-disclosed, incorrect information corrected, and make sure all executed or known documents in the files mandated by the bank. The bank offered documents that can be made public. The bank is also regulated by U.S. government, the OCC, which is the Office of Comptroller of Currency, the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, the FDIC, which is the Federal Deposit Insurance Company, and the Federal Reserve Bank Board of Governors. Then one that the governmental agencies regulating the bank can aid in correcting, fixing the issues as well, if done correctly. If neither helps, in other words, what I'm talking about is if neither the bank nor the banker's regulators help, it's a reasonable question both parties of negligence and safe and sound banking practices, not fully disclosing the entire agreement, unlawful enrichment of proceeds by selling someone else's property without full consent and knowledge, and absolutely the genuine, authentic evidence. ABC Bank is a servicer and not the lender. There's a lot more issues that can go in there as well, but those are some of the things that come to my mind if they're going to try to hide something, or if they try to tell you one thing, but they won't give you full disclosure. As we said earlier, look, if you really loan me your own capital, why won't you say it in court in front of the judge? Why won't you say it publicly under the penalty of perjury? You always go back and say, we extended credit. Well, extending credit is still a loan of something of value, so it's still a loan. So is that a yes or a no? Well, the note's not important. Okay, if the note's not important, why don't you give it back to me, and I'll just give you a certified copy of it. You take a copy of it and see if you can still organize your reserves at the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve demands only original documents. And the entire game would be exposed at that point in time. So I'd like to see one of those two done, but as of right now, we've got nothing but you're crazy, you're an internet scammer, again, character assassination, totally avoiding the simple fact of yes or no. It's a real simple question. If there's a yes or no to that, I'll shut up. Generally, debt is defined that which is due from one person to another. This definition is in the sense of an obligation. Again, we talked about modern money mechanics and some of the other publications, but again, modern mechanics, which has been taken off the shelves at the Chicago Federal Reserve. You can't get them no more, but they're still, and it does exist. It says on page 6, of course, they, the banks, do not really pay out loans from the money they receive as deposits. Again, wipes out that theory, again, from one of their own publications. If they did this, no additional money would be created. What they do is accept promissory notes in exchange for credits to the borrower's transaction account. So what you're borrowing is credits? I don't think the American people buy that. You're borrowing a credit, and you're getting a building called a house for a credit, and then every week you have to pull out what you've been told to believe is money and pay back the bank money for their extension of. It doesn't make sense. The same holds true inside of yet in reality, the loan
talks a lot about the person and how we become the person. And so, yes, please, if you add this to your read, it's real quick. I think it's only about 12 pages long. But yes, if you go read this, it's going to definitely help a lot of the stuff that you all say. I mean, what we say on these lives makes sense. So I was just kind of showing them. I know sometimes them seeing it and what the sites look like helps a lot too. So again, and this is famguardian.org. Is the site that you find this on, because sometimes Googling it is going to give you a lot of different options, but this you want to choose.
That's where you learn how to fill out the birth certificate, the passport, if you will. It's located on the same site.
And it tells you here, it says, the definition statute does not list man or woman as a person. Therefore, they are excluded from all the statutes. So again, a lot of the stuff y'all hear, like you said, it's in black and white. This is not stuff that we are making up. This is stuff that we've researched and we've been learning, and it's right here for us. It's been here the whole time. But again, the way we've been raised through our lives have not taught us any of this through no school system, elementary, middle, high, even college. And I got several degrees, and not one single topic or class that I took taught me any of this stuff. And I know most of us, all of us, are in this situation where it's like, why didn't we know these things? Well, the people who wanted and needed to know it, they gave it to them. But for us, the regular people, regular consumers, they didn't give us this stuff. They didn't tell us that when we were signing our names on contracts that the contracts we signed are fraud. They didn't tell us that, well, they told us it was there, right? Let me back up. They told us, but we didn't know that it was in writing somewhere that we needed to know. That whole, we can't get denied for credit. Everything about, securities and things like that. This stuff has literally been available for us. But again, it's that saying, all you got to do is put it in writing and put it in a book, and we probably will never know it. But this, again, is the information of time where we got to get out there and start reading and comprehending and learning. Us being on these lives, guys, it's just helping you all figure out what this stuff is, how to get to it. And I know you get mad when we say go read it for yourself, but why would you not want to go read it for yourself? Don't believe me, go read it for yourself. I can get on here 1,000 times and say it, but until you lay your eyes on it to validate, oh my God, this is exactly what they were talking about, then now you can believe it, meaning you're going to take more chances on reading it, and you're going to continue to add to your own knowledge. Like I said, Mac Real and everybody, they all come through here with everything that they do, all of the accomplishments that we've all had with the things that we're doing. And I know a lot of you all want that, but again, don't go in no courtroom and do nothing that Black said without knowing you can stand on it.
Yeah, Fam Guardian has how to do the passport. It has I guess it has that on there. I never seen it, but it's a pretty hefty site, so you're gonna have to sift through it and find it. It's in there, I'm sure, if they said it's on there. And it also has on there how to get the how to do your master file at the IRS as well. If some of you knowledgeable enough to know what I'm talking about now, then you'll know where to go find and formulate the letter that's on there. There's a template letter on there, how to change the individual master file. So, check it out.
Yep, it says on here, the word person includes individuals, children, firms, associations, joint adventures, partners, estates, trust, business trusts, syndicates, fiduciaries, corporations, and all other groups or combination. So the word person is a plethora of things. But again, you all have got to understand. So if you see that word person somewhere, you got to know how it's applied. And so again, that reading is fundamental. Again, if I don't know something like Theory just said, I may go read it 4, 5, 6, 7 times, like in real life, because I want to make sure. And then when I don't know something, I may go look up a certain word in that sentence. Like, I wonder what they mean about this. And then I go research that. it leads you down rabbit holes, y'all. It's going to lead you from one point to another, and it's going to open up the realm of information like, oh my God, I did not know all of this. But I'm just trying to help you all figure out ways to help this stuff make sense to you, because it is a lot. But again, years of studying versus I just called in the last 60 days. You know, Theory got on here this morning and he talked so heavy about, listen, y'all, I just came to this stuff a couple of months ago, and I think he's taking AMPU class, and he just went in just really talking about just even the power that he gained from what he's been getting on the lives, as well as now being in a class with someone that is breaking it down in a different light. So imagine where he's going to be even another 2 months from now on this information. So is it okay sometimes to have to follow someone's class to get it a little bit better? You got to do what you got to do for you. As much as I study, I still invest in me and my learning. Sometimes I may not want to go figure out how to research. So if you've done the research, I might as well join your class and get it a little bit quicker, and then I can go study it. You know, I jumped in Telegram with just my theory. A lot of good information in there, and it's just like, however we can connect the dots, let's connect it together. So if I gotta invest in myself by joining something you offer, then I'm gonna do that, because I know it's gonna help me out. You know, everybody, oh, you in it for this. No, you gotta be in it for your own reason. And that's just the bottom line. I can't help you help you. You gotta help you. I can only give you what I got to help you along the way.
Help me help you. Help me help you. And it really is that, right? Like there's people in the comments that sometimes ask a question that makes you think about, oh shit, you know, I didn't think about that, but I think that you can do this. So like they say that there's no stupid questions. I think there are, but what's that?
Especially when they're Googleable.
That part for sure. But as far as like something that isn't Googleable, you when you ask questions and you make these guys think, or even like consider a new process, consider a new way. It's never ending learning though. It's a never ending learning, and I'm always gonna reference this, that the best shooter in the world right now, everybody can say Steph Curry is the